Hello and welcome back to the Nursing Home Expert. My name is Bailey Hillman and I am your nursing home expert. Today we are going to talk a little bit about grievances. You're probably thinking, wait a minute, am I going to have grievances in a nursing home? Or you may be thinking, I have so many grievances already in a nursing home. So if you're in a skilled nursing facility, in a nursing home, any senior living type facilities, they are going to have a grievance process. Because guess what? We work with people, we're taking care of people, and we are not going to always do everything right. I always tell families, I'm like, it's not about us being perfect. I'm never going to claim to be perfect. Absolutely not. I know we mess up. I know that some days our food just doesn't taste quite well. I know that sometimes we don't get to that call light just in time. I know sometimes we respond and the conversation that's had between you and a professional in the community was not that professional. And it happens. Okay. And so I want to hear about those. As a nursing home administrator, I want to hear about the grievances. I want the opportunity to make them better because I always say it's not about the complaint. It's not about how we messed up. It is always about how we respond. Okay. So if you're in a place that is not responding well to grievances, okay, you're complaining and they're not responding, get out. Okay. If that's the case, get out. If you have gone through all of the channels and they're not responding, that's when you leave. If you just complain to one person, let's say you complain to the CNA and you're like, oh my gosh, nothing's happening, nothing's getting fixed, you're not following the process. Okay, there is a process. And unfortunately, in nursing homes, sometimes the process can be a little tedious to get through, but it's important to know what is the grievance process of the place that I am living or that my loved one is living. Okay, what does that look like? How do I get the information to the right person to take care of it and get it resolved? All right. And so I want to talk about a general grievance process. Okay. So, what typically happens in skilled nursing or nursing facilities whenever you're looking at a grievance process? The first thing you want to do is try to resolve it with the department. Okay. So, if you know who the housekeeping supervisor is and you know that your room's not getting cleaned to your satisfaction, when you see her in the hallway, or if your nurse is in there and you can say, hey, can I talk to the housekeeping supervisor? They could send in the housekeeping soup. Okay. And they could say, hey, what are your grievances? And you could tell them, I don't feel like the room is getting cleaned to my satisfaction. And I've noticed there's dust bunnies underneath my bed, or, there's food crumbs and the ants are coming in. There's ants. Please report that quickly. That can turn really bad quickly. But you can ask them to come in and talk about it within that department. If it's maintenance, okay, if the TV remote's not working, if it's that it's nursing and you want different meds, your pain medication isn't enough, and don't want it just PRN because you forget to ask. You want it actually scheduled or something scheduled on top of your PRN. Okay, so handle it with the department first. I always encourage families to do that. So first thing, handle it with the department. I had a family recently that I gave my cell phone number to, okay, my personal number, which it's hung everywhere. People just don't realize that a lot, and so they don't call it. But I had actually texted this person and I had called this person, and so we kind of built a relationship, right? Which is good. I want to have relationships with my families, but this is more of one of those challenging, okay, opportunity type families that we have some opportunity to grow with. And so they were having a difficult time understanding and really following through. And my team was frustrated with them. So I kind of took the communication over myself. But she got to where she was calling me for everything. Hey, Bailey, can you tell me if my mom is on the bus right now headed to her doctor's appointment? I have no idea. I am the administrator. But if I knew every little detail of where all 120 of my people were at every given moment and all 150 of the residents, I would lose my mind. Okay. I can't keep track of that. It's not possible. And I'm not saying that because I don't want to. And there may be some amazing administrators out there that can keep track of everything and when everybody's at. And, you know, it, I was out at a marketing event and I don't know. I don't have our transportation schedule in front of me, but if you call the front desk, they'll be able to give that answer like that. Okay. So that's why I say go to the department first with anything. So if it's a nursing issue and you go to nursing and they just don't resolve it, okay, you're complaining about pain. Your family is not getting enough pain meds. And every time you come in there, they're in tears, they're hurting, they're crying, and they're just not responding quick enough for pain management. Then Okay, then you would take it to the next level. So go to the department first. If it's not being resolved as you would have it, that you would want, then file a formal complaint. Typically, this is your social worker. Okay, so if your building has a social worker, they will be the ones to take the grievances most of the time. Or there may be a grievance coordinator, someone who is just specific for that task. If they don't have a social worker, or maybe the social worker focuses on other things. So find whoever the grievance officer, the grievance coordinator, the social worker, whatever they may call it, find out who takes the grievances, right? Who takes the grievances? As an administrator, I see the grievance book. I look through them all. Okay, that really is my pulse on how well the community is doing. If I'm having a lot of grievances, I'm like, wait, what is going on, right? Something is not healthy here, and I need to fix something in our community, whether it's a team member or it's a system in place or something not quite right. I want to know what the grievances are. So make a formal complaint. If it's handled the right way, typically the administrator would know. If for some reason, okay, which again, it's gonna your problem will hopefully get resolved at some point, but if it still does not, okay, so now you've went to the department, no resolution. Filed a formal complaint, no resolution. Now I would specifically ask for the administrator or executive director. So sometimes they call them different. So executive director, administrator, the person in charge of the building. Okay. I always tell people, they're like, you're the administrator. Yes. Just say, I need to talk to the boss. Like it really ends and begins with me. Okay. I'm at the top unless you're talking to corporate, which I will tell you is not going to be helpful. Okay, it's not helpful. In most cases, it's not helpful. So the administrator is the one that has the license on the wall. They're the one running the building. It is their responsibility to ensure that everything happening in that community, in that nursing home, in that skilled nursing facility is running properly. And if they're a good administrator, which I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, there's a lot of good administrators out there, they will want to know. Okay, they'll want to know. Many times, it gets to a point where, I've been in communities before that something happens and I'm like, wait, like I didn't even know this was happening. I wasn't even told that this person had this grievance and complaint. I could have very easily and quickly resolved it, but nobody even informed me. So again, it's a communication breakdown within my team, but then also it's a lack of us educating our families that it's okay to talk to me. Okay? Or them just feeling like they're going to be a bother to me. I get that a lot of times. Families will come to me and say, I just know you're busy. I'm busy because like I want to take care of you. Like that's why I'm busy. I want, like, you are my busy. So it's okay to keep me busy. It's okay to come and ask me questions, or it's okay to come and complain to me. As a staff member, as a family member, as a resident, I want to know. I had a staff member yesterday, last night, call, and he's like, I'm sorry to really just unload on you. It's like, it's okay. Got big shoulders. That's why I do what I do. A lot of my job is just to navigate and help people solve problems. I'm not a speech therapist. I'm an occupational therapist, not a speech therapist, obviously. And so, as an administrator, you can go to them and share your complaints. Okay, so your administrator is one that you want to go to after you file that formal complaint and it doesn't get carried through. Talk to the administrator. If the administrator does not follow up, shame on them, right? Shame on them. But if they don't, or if they do and you don't agree, okay, so let's say that, let's say that they're going to discharge you from the community and you do not agree. You feel like you have different rights, that you've already, appealed it, all the stuff, and you just cannot seem to communicate or understand what's going on. You're not happy with the administrator, you're not getting the response that you want. You can contact what is called the Ombudsman. Ombudsman. This is a very strange name, but they are an organization that is run. They're kind of a neutral party. They're supposed to be the ones to come as the middleman. So between the nursing home and the resident or resident family, they're kind of the middle ground. They're the referee between the two to figure out how we can all come to a resolution together. So before you call state, okay, I get that a lot. I'm going to call state. I'm going to call state. Before you call state, please give the administrator time or the ombudsman time to fix the grievance. Okay, so give them the time to come in, have a little meeting, do some resolution. If it is something that is life or death or threatening, or it's it's really important and your loved one is suffering greatly, don't go through this process. Okay, it should go straight to the top. So don't hear me say that every time, but those little grievances like lack of communication or systems and processes that are not in place, like laundry, okay, or something like that, those are small things, right? Those are small things. If your loved one is not getting the proper medication, or there's a lot of medication errors that you're seeing, those things are a big deal. Okay, that's a big deal. Go to the administrator. If you don't get a response, call state, right? That's not something to play around with. But if it's something small, go through these grievance processes and make sure, if it's activities, you're not getting a lot of activities, okay, go through these steps to see if you can resolve it first and then call state. So if the ombudsman and you don't go into that, she doesn't side with you, or you still feel like there's problems, or you just don't have time for the ombudsman to come in, or the ombudsman doesn't respond. Okay, I've had that as well, that ombudsman's air spread thin as well as everybody else in healthcare, not just in nursing homes, but in healthcare, hospitals, doctors' offices, everybody's short, right? Even McDonald's is short. Like, I don't know where all the workers went. They just disappeared. That many people didn't die from COVID, but they are gone. Okay, our working workforce is gone. And so if you cannot get the response that you need after you've gone to the department, after you've filed that formal complaint, after you've gone to the administrator, after you talk to the ombudsman, then you want to go to the local state authority. Okay, then you want to report it to state. As an administrator, I want to tell you, I hear anytime I take over a new building that's not in good shape, okay, or that has not been run properly, or the communication has been lacking, I find this a lot, that families will come to me and the first thing out of their mouth is, if this doesn't get fixed, I'm going to call state. If you don't get this brace, I'm going to call state. If you don't fix staffing, I'm going to call state. If you don't respond within 3 minutes to call outs, I'm going to call state. To the point where, quite honestly, I'm not afraid of state. Okay, I've been doing this for a while. Okay, I've been an administrator for 3 years now. I've been in the industry for 12. I've done regional work. I've managed a lot of surveyors, a lot of state regulatory. I'm not afraid of state. Okay, I'm not afraid of them. I know that the things that I do on a day in and day out basis is right and ethical, and I'm not worried or upset or threatened when someone comes to me, a staff member or a family member comes and says, well, I'm going to call state. Okay, my response, and what I would encourage you, if you're a healthcare professional, is to say, I'll call them with you. I always say that. I'm like, if you're going to report it, I got to report it, so we might as well call together. So let's just call together. And so when families will yell out, oh, this is neglect and I'm calling state, I typically call them and I say, okay, I have, a couple hours to report this. Are you saying that it is neglect? Are you saying that it is abuse? Or is it that they were just, rough? Or do you just not like that person? Is there some personal thing against them? And so I'll try to resolve it first. And I always make sure that they know, you can say state all you want, but in the end, I know what their response is going to be on any of this. Okay, I know when they come in on a complaint, what's going to happen most of the time. And most of the time, I'm not scared of that. Okay, if they come in and find me guilty, then I'll fix it. Right? The worst thing that could happen is an immediate jeopardy. If that's going to happen in my building, I would probably know about it prior. And I would kind of be expecting it anyway. And I probably would have already reported it and been like, yeah, we messed up, right? We're human. Unfortunately, there's things that happen that are bad. There's things that happen in school districts that are bad. There's things that happen at the movie theaters that are bad. There's things that happen in restaurants that are bad. We all have checks and balances in place, and state is definitely our regulatory body, and they can come in and fine me and suspend my license and all of that. But I can't live in fear of that, right? If the restaurant industry just lived in fear of the health department coming in all the time, and they just feared it all the time, they wouldn't be able to provide good food. They'd just be worried about things. I'm not worried about state. Okay, I'm going to do what I do best, just like cooks do what they do best. They cook and clean and take care of their kitchen the best that they can. I'm going to take care of people and have a great time and increase quality of life and make a place that people want to work. And then if something happens bad, I'm going to try to fix it, right? Again, it's not what happened, it's how I respond. And if I respond and I try to fix it as the administrator, I would hope that it would stop there. If it doesn't and state gets involved, then they get involved. Okay, and many of the state surveyors have been administrators before and they know. Okay, they know when a staff member calls in complaints after you terminate them and they come in on 12 different allegations. I've had that in buildings that I go in to fix. It's like, hi, I'm glad you're back today. I just saw you last week and I had to terminate somebody else and they called state again. And the surveyors know and they're lenient. Okay, they know what's going on and they know that they're disgruntled and they've just called in a bunch of allegations and they're going to investigate them all and figure out what's going on. And most of the time, I already have plans in place to fix them. Okay, again, we're not perfect, but it's all about how we respond. So, in all that, I say, please, please, okay, in nursing homes, give us a chance to fix it. Okay, and I know I see on social media all the time where families are like, oh my gosh, like, this is happening and nobody's responding or nobody's following up and I can't get any resolution. And I'm like, have you talked to the administrator? I don't even know who the administrator is. Well, that's the person that's going to solve your problems most likely. Okay, so figure out who they are. Have you called the Ombudsman yet? I don't know who that is, but I'm calling state. Well, give them a chance to fix it first and then call state. Trust me, we will thank you in the nursing home. But even more, our state regulatory authority and everybody, any state regulation people will thank you. They'll say, thank you for trying to resolve this on your own before you get us involved because they get a ton of calls. They get a ton of calls. I'm telling you, if I fire a staff member, they get a call. Okay. And it's like, oh my gosh, they're stealing drugs. And that's not happening. Okay. They're a disgruntled employee and they come in and investigate and it's not really happening. Family members, sometimes residents don't want to be there. They make it sound a lot worse to family than it really is. It's like they're crying and sad whenever the loved one's here, and then they're playing bingo when they're gone. And it's like, wait a minute, your loved one loves it here. Okay, they're socializing, they have friends, they love it here. They just are sad that they're here, and for some reason, they're making you feel more guilty for putting them here because there's no place like home, right? There's no place like home. However, a nursing home, we can make this feel like home. Okay, and together, we are all going to learn how to be nursing home experts. So, you as a family member, you as a healthcare professional, you as a resident, okay, you guys are the nursing home experts. So thank you so much for watching our video series. Please make sure that you like and subscribe because I want to help all of you, okay, all of you. I don't want to be the only nursing home expert. I want all of you to be nursing home experts so that we can increase the quality of life for our seniors and help them to live a good life, right? The nursing home, life doesn't have to end in a nursing home. It can continue. All right. Thanks for joining. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.